Kratos is one of the most iconic video game characters ever created. From an artistic standpoint, his white skin and red tattoos are among one of the most recognizable character designs ever created. And from a story standpoint, almost every gamer knows a little about his story. Hell, even my mom knows he killed his first family. This, as well as his incredible feats as the God of War, has ensured that Kratos will be remembered as one of the best video game characters ever created. However, with the release of God of War 2018, the addition of Atreus has longtime fans of the series wondering if perhaps Santa Monica is getting ready to pass the torch to the young god. And while I think this will eventually happen, I'm not expecting an Atreus game anytime soon. This is mostly because Santa Monica is not sure whether fans are ready to jump on the Atreus protagonist ship. Which is why I think they're going to test the waters first by making Atreus a playable character in God of War Ragnarok. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey, how's it going guys? Kaptain Kuba here and welcome to another God of War video. Okay. I know some of you don't like the idea of Atreus as the protagonist. Or maybe you have nothing against him but love the character of Kratos too much to be let go as the face of the series. Even though I'm open to the idea of Atreus as the new protagonist, I'm also very scared. But that's not what this video is about. This video is mostly about the problem Santa Monica has with the post-game section of God of War Ragnarok. And maybe, just maybe, a playable Atreus might be able to fix it. Now, the problem with the post-game section is one that truly fascinates me, but it's also a very lengthy one, so I'll just give you the short version for the sake of pacing. God of War Ragnarok is going to be the last game in the Norse saga, and I doubt very much that this game will have an uplifting ending just like God of War 2018 had. In the trailer, we already see Kratos and Atreus arguing about how to stop Ragnarok. Atreus wants war, and Kratos doesn't. And Eric Williams, the director of the game, has compared Kratos to a father who will let his son make very painful mistakes because that's the only way he'll learn them. To me, this has always hinted at a separation between Kratos and Atreus at the end of the game. From a story perspective, this is totally fine, but from a gameplay and design perspective, this will be hell. Who exactly will you play as? Just Kratos? If that's the case, you won't have access to Atreus' supporting role in combat. Things like arrows or summons will simply disappear from the game. And if you play as Atreus, what exactly are you going to do? Spam arrows? This wouldn't make for a very compelling combat system. So how exactly will Santa Monica fix this problem? Well, I believe the solution to this problem is contained within the name of Phase X, Leviathan. A while back, I tied the name Leviathan to the monster from the Bible, but in that video, I slightly lied to you. Within Norse mythology, there's a weapon that sounds very similar to the name Leviathan. Loki's weapon, Leviathan. In Norse mythology, Loki takes it upon himself to create the only weapon capable of killing the rooster Bjornir. Sorry if I butchered that. This weapon was Leviathan. Loki wanted to kill the rooster because part of his job was to alert the Allfather when Ragnarok started. This would give Odin enough time to gather his armies and prepare for battle. By killing the rooster, Ragnarok would be ensured. Now, scholars of Norse mythology still debate what type of weapon Leviathan was. Some say it was a sword, while others say a dart, and others even propose the idea of a magical wand. The point is, no one knows the actual description of the weapon. This gives Santa Monica Studios the perfect excuse to take as many liberties with it, and I believe they already did. The weapon known as Leviathan is none other than Phase X Leviathan. And it's my prediction that in God of War Ragnarok, Atreus, aka Loki, will eventually come to own Leviathan just like his mythological counterpart did.
Only use it as a last resort.
You're giving me your axe?
I'm letting you hold my axe.
Now, even though I believe the mythological name is enough proof to end this video, I actually brought more evidence. The first one was pointed out to me by one of my new God of War buddies, Midgard Chronicler. When I told him about the possible link between the weapon Leviathan and Leviathan, he got really excited, and he quickly noticed something really interesting from the God of War Ragnarok trailer. That detail being the new placement for Atreus' quiver. In God of War 2018, his quiver is found right on his back, but in God of War Ragnarok, his quiver has been moved down to his hip. Now, this could just be a new artistic design that has no deep meaning in the story. But what if his quiver was moved down to his hip to make way for another weapon? maybe Leviathan. It's a simple theory, but quite good in my opinion. The other piece of evidence is more from a story standpoint. A while back, I made a video explaining how the Leviathan axe returns to Kratos. The reason the axe returns to Kratos is because it contains the spirit of someone from his past. This is something the game never tells us, but I believe the person who gave this information out is a credible source. So if you want to learn how I got this information, I recommend you click on this link. But anyway, after this confirmation, the God of War community was left to come up with theories as to who this spirit was. Was it Lysandra, Calliope, Zeus? There were many suggestions, but ultimately the majority of fans settled on the most likely answer. The spirit inside the axe was none other than Faye herself, Kratos' second wife and the original owner of the axe. This lore detail becomes really interesting because if I am right about Atreus wielding the axe, symbolically, he would be reunited with his mother, something he desperately craved in God of War 2018.
Please come back. I know you're out there somewhere.
So now that I've given you the evidence on why I believe Atreus will wield the axe, we have to tackle the problem I mentioned at the beginning of the video. How does Atreus wielding the axe fix the problem of the post-game section? Well, it doesn't necessarily fix it as much as it will improve or doom the post-game section. But first, we have to talk about Corey's vision for the post-game section of God of War 2018. In older interviews, Cory Barlog talked about how the post-game section of God of War 2018 was inspired by the castle flip of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, Castlevania Symphony of the Night had multiple endings. One of those endings is the flipping of Dracula's castle. And this isn't just a cutscene, it actually affects the post-game section of the game. Cory Barlog wanted to capture this very same feeling with the ending of God of War 2018. This is why you still have important story details given to the player after the game is finished. One of these is a snow falling to symbolize the start of Fimbulwinter. Also, when you defeat Sigrun, you learn about Freya being the original Queen of the Valkyries. If you go to Freya's house, Mimir will tell you that she's probably planning Kratos' demise.
Is it a good idea coming back here?
She's probably in there planning your demise, brother.
These and many other story details make the world feel alive even after you finish the main story. And I believe this approach to the post-game section will be even better in the next game. Like I said in my prediction video, I still believe Kratos and Atreus are going to go their separate ways at the end of the game. However, I no longer believe that it will be Atreus who leaves the Norse realm. So this is my new slightly changed story prediction for the ending of God of War Ragnarok. Something will happen between Kratos and Atreus that will split their relationship, most likely something to do with the death of Tyr. Kratos, upon seeing that his relationship with his son will not be fixed anytime soon, will leave the Norse realm. But before he does, he will give Atreus the Leviathan axe. He will tell Atreus something like, "You are ready to carry her legacy." And Kratos will leave and wander the earth just like he did prior to his arrival to the Norse realm. This is where the post-game section of the game will begin. The camera will zoom out from Kratos' back and it will find a comfy place behind Atreus' shoulder. And from that point on, you will play as Atreus. This wouldn't be as big of a departure from the combat system since Atreus will be wielding the main weapon of the game, the Leviathan axe. And I know you're asking yourself, what about the companion AI? Who will replace Atreus' role? And I think the answer is pretty simple. Angrboda will be the new companion AI. Much like Atreus, she is also a Jotun who will most likely be able to create summons as well as magical projectiles that can keep the enemies busy while Atreus deals with them up close. Now, I should say that this is a really ambitious idea. It's almost like making a brand new game. Atreus' animations would have to be changed to match his personality, and we also have to take into account his primary weapon, the Talon Bow, because it's very unlikely that he'll give it to Angrboda given the connection that bow has to his mother. So the gameplay designers will have to work extra hard to make it work as a side weapon for Atreus. Also, God of War 2018 hinted at Atreus shape-shifting. I really don't know if they will have enough time to fit this into the game. Maybe it'll be left for the sequel. So bottom line, if this is in fact what Santa Monica aims to do with the post-game section of God of War Ragnarok, it will be the greatest post-game section of all time, even better than the castle flip from Symphony of the Night. But that's only if they manage to balance out the game properly. Or maybe we shouldn't be expecting something so revolutionary. Maybe they'll be able to find a solution to the problem in a more cost-effective and less time-consuming way. But anyway, what do I know? I know this was a longer video with a lot of different topics sprinkled throughout. Will Atreus wield Leviathan axe? Will Kratos leave the Norse realm? Will Atreus be the new playable character in the post-game section? What about Angrboda? I know this was a lot to cover, but I want to read what you guys think about all of these questions. So make sure to leave your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. As always, I want to give a big thanks to all of my members for supporting the channel monthly. People like Daniel Simpson, Andre Rex, George Lonsdale, White Hedgehogs Fly, Cole, and many more are the reason I'm able to call YouTube my job. I really couldn't do any of these videos without your support, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I would also like to thank everyone who likes and shares my videos. I know it doesn't seem like much, but trust me, it really does help me put me in the algorithm. So with that said, don't forget to subscribe for more God of War content, and as always remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.